And I'm here with Anita Wong. I'm very excited to
Hello.
have Anita here again because
Yay.
we did a live show. When was it? Like 2 or 3 weeks ago at Atomicon?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago on a Tuesday afternoon at Atomicon. Yeah, at the end of
Yeah,
their long day, wasn't it? It was quite a long day that day.
it was. It
Whew.
was. And we're going to be talking about a cool feature from Restream called Restream Pairs. So I actually did a video on YouTube just yesterday, which is an introduction, but why wouldn't it, basically actually going live and actually testing it out in practice seems to be a really good idea. So Anita, you're not really my guinea pig because I think we did this before, but I thought it would be a really good idea to have you on and we can talk about it and then we can look at all the advantages as well.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
have you
definitely.
used Restream Pairs very much?
I have. I've used on my Digital Dots live show. I think I did my fifth one yesterday. So I think 3 out of the 5 I've actually done
Mm.
Restream pairs with it. I've had to like help the person do it if they're not very techie, but once they've set up and it's really easy to use, they've just got to know what to do when it
Yeah.
happens, and that's what we're going to explain today. So yeah, it's really good because it just maximizes your visibility, and it's also good for your guest because instead of sharing the live stream that's on your channel and then you get all the analytics and the reach and everything, they actually get that as well, which is it's beneficial for them. It's a win-win
Which is
situation.
Which is cool. So we should probably first of all explain what Restream Pairs is and explain what Restream is, just in case if you're watching you haven't heard of any of those. Well, first of all, Restream it does so many things. I quite like the description of it being a multi-streaming suite of different tools. So it has Restream Studio, which is what we're using, which is gives you the ability of going live in your browser. You don't need any complicated tools to download. It just works really easily, particularly if you're not very techie. It's great. And you can have up to 9 guests on the show. So we've got Anita today. We don't need 9 guests when we've got Anita.
I've got my dog as well. Hopefully you can't hear her snoring because I can hear her snoring. So,
I can't.
okay,
I
good.
can't. So you've got that. You've got the ability to go live, to broadcast in more than one platform. You've got like 30 different destinations. But there's lots of other things that we'll go into with Restream. But today we're talking about Restream Pairs. And the great thing with Restream Pairs is Anita is my guest on this show, but I gave her a link yesterday which allowed her to set up the broadcast to her channels as well. So we're going live to my Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. But Anita has set it up to broadcast to some of her channels as well.
I did. So I think mine's going to YouTube, my Facebook profile, my Facebook page, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
Yeah.
So really cool.
And I think it's become a lot easier. I think when I first started using Restream Pairs, it seemed a little bit complicated to use, but the guys at Restream have really put a lot of time and effort into making it super simple. And as a guest, you don't even realize you're setting up a Restream account. The guest does not need to have a Restream account or even heard of Restream. They just put their email address in, and then they can just connect their channels, and it's really, really easy that way, which is great. I also want to say, if you're watching live, let us know if you have any questions. Don't be shy. We are here to answer your questions. We'll do a bit of a Q&A today as well. So if you've got any questions to do with live streaming or Restream Pairs, let us know. And I think also we're going to talk about some other cool things like Snapcam and stuff like that. I can see Matthias is here and watching from Vietnam, saying hello, lovely people, back online after a tough time. I'm sorry to hear that. I wondered how you were doing actually, Matthias, so it's great to see you here, and I hope things haven't been too challenging, but year end is always busy, and hopefully Anita's pineapples in the background is cheering you up.
It just put you off. Like streaming towards you. So
you must tell us like what we'll go into more detail about this in a bit.
For a bit.
But what are you using to get those pineapples in the background?
I'm using the Snapcam camera, so you can download it onto your desktop or your or on your laptop, and then you use it as a camera. source on your live stream. So it really helps you to just jazz things up a little bit. You know, I'm all about pineapples and splashing your essence across the internet. So I've got them behind me today, but I will take them off so we can do some serious stuff first. And then we'll go back to the
well, not too serious. We like to have fun. I mean,
yeah.
One of the advantages of live streaming is you can have fun.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's like a really outrageous statement, but we've got somebody watching from Down Under. I don't know who you are, but you're saying hiya from Down Under. If you want us to be able to see your name, just click on confident.live/show my name. Confident.live/show my name. And that'd be great. And Matthias is also saying, well, he's saying that Restream is a great tool. And he's saying, are you using Restream Studio or Epocam? I'm using Restream Studio today. So everything that you see here, you can do within Restream Studio. Of course, you could use another tool like OBS and or Epocam or vMix, and that also works with Pears. So I could have brought in Anita today in OBS Studio. It's a bit more challenging with OBS Studio to bring in guests, but Epocam Live, it's a bit easier. And then I could stream to Restream, and this would go out to Anita's channels as well. So, which is great. And it's Lisa is watching from Down Under. Hope you're doing really well. I assume is that Lisa Monks? I assume that's Lisa Monks.
Yeah, it's probably late there. It must be in bed. Yeah.
Lisa's a night owl though, isn't she? So, Restream Pairs. So I think the first thing to say is I did a YouTube video yesterday which goes through how you set it up from the host's point of view. Just to go over that very quickly, when you set up an event in Restream, you put the title, the description, your thumbnail, excuse me, and then you choose which channels you want to go to. And at the end of it, once you've done all of that, it will give you a special link that you send to your guests. And that's what I sent to Anita. And I've got a short little video to show you what Anita did earlier. You know, we like to prepare things
we do.
From earlier. So here we go.
I'm Anita Wong. I've just got the Pears link from Ian, and I'm going to add my channels to my Restream account. Okay, so it's going to open up my platform. So now what it's going to do is it's going to let me choose the channels I want to add Ian's live stream to. So I'm going to go through mine, and I'm just going to turn off the ones that I don't want it to go to. And I'm going to keep the ones that I do want it to go to. And then I just go ahead and click save. Awesome. So I've successfully added my channels. And then when I want to join the live stream, all I do is click join stream.
Well, there you go. It was super simple. I mean, Anita's always amazing at just making things super simple, explaining, but it is actually really super simple, isn't it? I mean, that's basically you just click on the link.
Yep. You just click on the link and it takes you straight into your Restream account. If you've not logged in, you just log in and then it just does it for you. So yeah, it's super, super simple. And I can see, because I've joined Ian in the studio, but I'm in my studio as such. So I've got my accounts along the top. So I can't see what Ian's doing in his studio, although we're in the same studio, if that makes sense. So we're both in together, but I can see my accounts at the top and I can see all the chat coming through on the right-hand side like Ian has and everything. So yeah, super cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. And just so I can see that this is a great question from Challenge ITV. So what if the guest doesn't have a Restream account, how to use Pears? And that's, to be honest, is probably going to be reasonably common. If you don't have techie people like Anita on, they're not necessarily going to have a Restream account. But all that will happen is you've actually got the option to enter your email address, or if you have a Restream account, just log in. So if they don't have a Restream account, they just put their email address in. There's no need for anything else, and they will be sent an email. So there's no worry to, in terms of like forgetting the link and things like that. So it's super simple. So in fact, Katie Simpson is here. Great to see you, Katie.
Yeah,
saying hashtag super simple.
Yeah, super, 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 super.
So I think at Challenge ITV, Matthias, you said, can you give a quick look at Restream Pairs? That's what hopefully we've done from the guest's point of view. But I think if I just share my screen now, let's just do it. We're going to get a bit of a weird infinite loop probably now. Let's have a look. It's always weird when we share a screen of a screen. Yeah, there we go. The beautiful infinite loop here. But what's really cool at the top here, you can see my channels. So if I click on that, you can see all my channels that I'm going live to. So I'm going live to VK, the Russian network. Not that I tend to use that very often. YouTube, DLive, OK. I don't even know what that is. It's something. Trovo, Vaughn Live, LinkedIn, Twitch, I think, a Facebook page, Facebook group, Twitter, and another Facebook group. And then if I click on paired channels, these are Anita's channels that we're going live to. So this is cool, going live to your LinkedIn. Is that your Facebook page?
Yeah, my personal profile. And then my
your personal profile,
then,
your YouTube. YouTube, sorry. Twitter.
That's my page. And then I've got a group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Now, the other thing that I noticed, I didn't realize it did this. So with Restream Pairs on the chat on the right,
it's showing you, isn't it? Because I can see it now as well. Who's coming in from, where the chat's coming in from.
Which is really helpful. So, for example, I can see here we've got Challenge ITV, Matthias watching. I can see that he's watching on YouTube. And because it doesn't say paired, I know that they're on my channels where we've got Ron Carmichael in the house. Great to see you, Ron. Is watching on YouTube, on Anita's YouTube, which is great. Cool. In fact, there's somebody called Anita Wong as well watching on YouTube.
I just replied to Ron on my YouTube. So I've got that open, but yeah, no,
that's cool. And Jeff as well. Great to see you, Jeff. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, hi, Jeff.
Watching on Facebook. So yeah, I love this. I think this is really cool. What would you say? So let me just switch that off. What would you say is what are the big advantages in using Restream Pairs? I mean, how are you using it, and how, why should people use it?
Okay, so I would say the biggest advantage is that if you're a guest on somebody's live stream, you don't have to then fiddle around trying to share the stream once it goes live, because you want to be engaging with the audience. You want to really be trying to look at the camera most of the time. I know I'm on my laptop and things, but what usually happens if I were a guest on Ian's show, then I would have to go into my account either before, if he's scheduled it, and share the live stream from your account onto my accounts, or do it actually once you're live. So that's the biggest bonus, I think, for me, is that your guests don't have to share their streams, that they actually just show up automatically. And it also comes natively from your guest. So it's like your guest is actually doing it, not just you, if that makes sense, because it's going out natively to both. So I think that's really, really cool, because it also helps your guests' visibility on the channels that they've chosen with the algorithms and things, because it's telling that channel that your guest is actually going live inside their account as well, rather than just sharing. So I think those are the two biggest wins from using Pairs, definitely.
I totally agree. And I think that's one thing we should probably just re-emphasize, that when the guest adds the show to their allows them to broadcast the show to their channels. What we mean by that is that instead of Anita sharing my live, so where it says Ian Anderson Gray is live, it will actually say Anita Wong is live. It's actually to her channels, and so it's a way to allow your guests to reach their audience in a much more authentic way, I think. And the other cool thing that I need to do a better job of explaining this to my guests, because I don't think I've done that very well in the past. Guests actually have the ability to edit the title and description as well. So, for example, today's show, it might say, in today's episode, I am going to be doing this, but Anita could have changed it to, in this show, I'm a guest on Ian's show, and we're going to be talking about So the guests can actually change that and make it much more authentic for them, which is cool.
Yeah, that's really good. And I did actually do that in there, just saying, like, on some of them, especially like my YouTube channel, because I like to optimize it. So I went in and optimized it, added all my little bits to it and things like that. So it is really good that you can go in and edit that, which is, super, like you say, it's good, because you want to talk, although we're guests on each other, like I'm a guest on your show, I want to talk to my audience as well and let them know what's going on. So it's really good to have that, which is really good. So
absolutely. It is really cool. Now, a question from Matthias. This is a great question. Can you use pairs even if my guest is not joining the live stream and my guest still wants to have the live stream on their profile? And the answer is yes, you can. So I'm glad that Anita turned up. But if she hadn't, we'd still have been broadcasting to Anita's channels. So the only thing I would say that technically speaking, I wouldn't give out the pairs link, on the web to everyone, because technically speaking, they could click on that and then just come onto your broadcast. They'd be in the green room. You wouldn't, they wouldn't pop on, automatically on the show, but just be aware of that. So yeah, it is pretty cool. So hope that answers your question. So I'm definitely a big fan of this, whether you're using Restream Studio or whether you are using a third-party tool like OBS or Epocam. It works with Restream Pairs, and you can either, your guests can be on or they don't have to be. You can actually do what are called Restream Pairs parties. Have you ever been involved with a Pairs party, Anita?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. It'd be great fun though, I think. How many you could, that's like an indefinite number, isn't it? Because you could have so many live streams going on so many channels with the Restream Pairs party, because you could literally be broadcasting everywhere. It'd be so cool.
Yeah, you could. I don't know whether there's a limit in terms of the number of guests you can have on your show. You can have, so there'll be 10 in total, you and 9 guests. And if you were each of you live streaming to 20 destinations, 20 is a lot. So, but that would be 200 live streams. And, I don't know whether you can actually, add more to that. But the potential is nuts.
Well, if you're not going to be on the show as a guest, then you could, because for instance, I remember you did a live stream recently, which I shared on my platforms as a paired live stream, but I wasn't taking part in the stream. So I've done that with a couple of the Restream live streams that they've done. I'm not actually taking part in it, but I thought it was valuable to my audience. So I paired my channels with their live stream, and it went out on my platform.
Yes.
It was as if it was me live stream, but actually it wasn't me, it was them. But I was just sharing it because I thought the content was really valuable.
Yes.
So yeah, you could probably do that as well on top of the guests that you've got in the studio. So you could really sort of extend the reach of the conversation that you're having. I think that's really
definitely
cool. Yeah.
And that is kind of like a pairs party, what you've done. So you have, it is something that you can do. So, and Matthias is asking, the link is it not unique per show? And it is, yeah. So the link that you send out is per show. So if Anita can't just join my next one, it'll be a different link. So that's important. Although it's not a different link per guest. So it's the same, as far as I know, it's the same link for all your guests. So yeah, I wouldn't share your pairs link on the interwebs.
No,
just in case you get random people.
It's a bit like with Restream, because if you just have guests in your studio without using the pairs, that link can be the same, but you can refresh that link. So if you had people in your studio and they weren't paired, so you were just having a conversation, maybe 3 or 4 guests, and you share that link with them. If you want to change the link for the next show, you can actually refresh that link. So it works the same way.
Oh, cool.
Not to get it confusing, because there's 2 different ways, isn't there, of bringing guests into the studio. There's the pairs link, which is what we're discussing today. But if you just want the guests to come in your studio and go out through your channel, the host channel, then you can also have guests in as well.
Yeah, so you don't have to use pairs. You've got the option. In fact, there's a little toggle at the end. Once you've scheduled your show, it will then give you the option to use the pairs link, or you can just toggle that off and just bring in your guests the regular way. And if you're not going to use pairs, I'd probably just do it that way. Otherwise, you'll just confuse your guests. You've got complete, control over that. So yeah. So if there are any more questions on pairs or on multi-streaming, on live video, or on anything, actually, that would be great. And we're going to talk about a few other things as well in this show. I know Anita's been playing around with Snapcam, and we were also talking about, this is one of the reasons we started a bit late, because like we like our little gizmos, don't we, Anita?
Yeah, we were talking about all sorts of things.
Yeah, we're talking about Epocam and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that we'll talk about that. Just another question from Matthias, who's saying, Ian, can you share the replay on the host setup you mentioned? Curious to see that setup. Yeah, so that's on my, if you go to youtube.com/Ian Anderson Gray, in fact, let me just get that up on the screen. And then maybe while I'm doing this, Anita, do you want to just tell us all about Snapcam? Because not everyone will have heard of it. What is Snapcam? Is it expensive? Is it free? How do we use it? Let us know.
Yeah, okay. So I've just put a Snapcam filter on. So I've got my little glasses on, and it looks like I'm in an auditorium for for a study. So Snapcam is a feature. So it's a downloadable tool that you can use on your desktop or your laptop. So it's free. So I'm just going to get up the I'm going to just open a new window and get it up. But Snapcam itself, if you just type in Snapcam to the browser, I just want to look at the compatibility for you. So basically, brings a magical of lenses to your live stream and video chat. So it's completely free. Obviously, it just brings a new element and a different element to what you're doing. So you download it to your computer, and then you open it up as a spare camera. So you just open it up, and then it just sits on your screen with you. And there is so many different features. So what you do then, once you're in the toggle, oh, brilliant, thank you. So when you toggle your settings, you choose your camera input as the Snapcam camera. And then what that allows you to do is then just change all the different features. And they've got such good fun things in here. So if I know in America it's Thanksgiving. So they've got all these Thanksgiving things here. So let's just have an autumn things. So they've got all some really nice like autumn vibes. So you can just have like all these different glasses on, and you can have little bouquets, and it really just brings a completely different element to your live stream. They also have they've got categories as well. So I can actually see if I can just share my screen with you, and I'll just show you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
This one. So if you can just, perfect. So this is my cockpit, if you like, of my Snapcam. And as you can see, they've got these different categories, and you can choose them. And then they've got the top community lenses that you can use. So there's all sorts of different things, and you can choose one, or you can just, so like the work and study one, if I click that one, they've got all these neat little ones. So I can have a pair of glasses on if I wanted to. I could do my makeup, quite nice. I can have a fresh look. This one's quite nice because we're all in love with the old filter on Zoom. Sometimes when we're using a third-party tool, we don't necessarily have those filters. So sometimes it's quite nice to play around and add some different elements to it. You can have a cat on your head and all those sorts of things. So it's just a really good way of jazzing things up. And, it's just fun, basically. And it brings a completely different element to what you're doing. So you just choose, and you can look through all sorts of different things. So it just really depends on what you want to achieve from what you're doing. Well, that's quite cool, isn't it? Oh, look at that.
Oh, I love it. And this is great. I mean, you might not want to do like some of the really silly ones. You might be kind of more of a serious person, and that's totally fine. You might want to do something completely silly, and of course, like what we want to stop people in the feed. Like, oh my goodness, what's that? There's this woman with a cat on her head. What's that about? I'm going to have to click on that. So there's a big advantage with that. Another thing, can you just click on the cog on the top right? Because one thing that you were mentioning about is people love the touch-up appearance option, and there is this option to apply retouching to a video stream when no lens is activated. So you don't actually have to use any of the kind of the filters or the other filters if you don't want to. If you want to just, I don't know, what's the polite way of putting this, Anita? Like, just get rid of some of those wrinkles and.
Yeah, it's just to get rid of the wrinkles because we're spoiled with one particular software. So suddenly, like it's like, wow, I look so good in this, So it's actually quite nice to be able to just get rid of them a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So
cool.
so that's Snapcam. It's a great tool, and I highly recommend it. It does require a little bit more juice, your computer. So if your computer is struggling a little bit with live streaming as it is, you might struggle adding Snapcam to the mix. But it's a great tool. I love it. And I was fiddling with another tool recently called Epocam, and it's from the guys at Elgato, who they do the Stream Decks and the key lights and the green screens and all that kind of stuff. But they have an app which I believe is for iPhone and Android, but I might be wrong. I think it's for both. And basically, it uses your camera on your phone, and then you can swap. So it creates basically a virtual camera on your computer. So I can in Restream, if I just this should work. Let's just, never a good idea to do things in real time. There we go. It's working. So yeah, this is using my front facing camera. I could also change it, and I can show you all my wires in my studio. So it's actually good if you want a second camera. This is sometimes what I'll do. I'll just mount it behind. Now, one of the cool things you can do is you can add filters. Oops, right. And I don't know whether you'll be able to hear the sound. You probably won't, but there's a really cool one for, there we go. Can you hear the sound?
Yeah, we can actually, yeah. Well, I can. Ooh, breaking
And there we go. I'm on the news, and today the world has gone completely mad.
Yay!
But there's also things like clean, flower, invert, paint, sepia. Is it sepia or sepia? I don't know.
Sepia, I think
that's breaking news again.
From.
There you go. I've got some.
Ears.
Wow, me hearties, pieces of 8 and all that. And that's a blurred background as well. So it's pretty cool. And that's Epocam. Now, Epocam is not free. I'm just going to swap back because that's just too much excitement for me for one day. Epocam is not free, but it is pretty cool. Have you tried Epocam before, Anita?
No, I think I downloaded it on my phone, but I haven't actually experimented yet because I've been having fun with Snapcam and using a few other little bits and pieces. I'm fortunate enough to have the new M1 Mac desktop thing, because I've been running my business from my MacBook Pro laptop for such a long time. I've just got to have something more stable because last year when I was, because I do BMX racing, and I took my computer to the track one day because I was doing a bit of work for one of my team manager, and my Coke can burst in my bag with my laptop in it.
Oh no.
And it was like, but fortunately I had everything on the cloud, which is something that you really do need to do. So if you're using your laptop, anything that you have on your laptop, you just need to make sure you save into the cloud. So it wasn't a disaster, but then I thought maybe I should just put the bulk of my stuff on my desktop and just use my laptop for little bits and bobs. So that's what I did.
Sounds
so
good.
yeah. So
always have a backup and a backup of the backups. That's what they say.
Yeah, backup of a backup of a backup. And it's great, all the cloud storage now, because you can access it from everywhere. And I do love my Mac, so everything's connected.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if you are like we have a kind of cross-platform family. My wife has got a PC. It kind of works on that as well. So it's great. Just a remander, I put this up on the screen. So apparently, I thought it was available for Android users, but it looks like it isn't. So it's got it on the App Store. But yeah, and yeah, how much does it cost? I don't know. Does it say how much it costs? Or maybe
I think in the App Store it'll probably say. It does say download and install the computer driver for Windows.
Yeah. So
I don't know what
I think you can use it on Windows, but it looks like it isn't available on Android. So that's a shame.
Epocam. Let me have a look at how much it says it is on.
$7.99. Yeah, there's a pro version and a free version. Here we go. So the free. Am I showing this on the screen? Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
that's good.
You can see it.
So the main difference is You don't have the connection mode option. You can't use a microphone, so there's no audio on the free version. There's no pinch to zoom, dual camera zoom, manual focus. You can't use your phone light, no HDR. But actually, it's pretty good. And Snapchat lenses. So that's very interesting. Well, there you go. So $7.99 for the paid version, but you can use a lot of the stuff for free. So it's worth looking into.
So you've got the blue one, is it? The Epocam web camera.
Yeah, I've got the pro version, I think. But
only because when I went into the store, the Apple store, there's 2 options. So which is a bit
right.
But,
so you need to install it on your Mac or your PC. So it's compatible with Macs and with PCs, and then also you installed the app on your iPhone as well. So definitely check that out.
Yeah,
cool.
Definitely do that.
Matthias is asking a question. Any idea when Restream Studio will allow multicam? So this is the ability if you want to swap between, if you have more than one camera, you can swap between them. And you can, so the answer is, I don't know when there's going to be an actual option to swap between them easily. You can kind of do that at the moment though. I mean, as you saw, I swapped between, I can go into my settings and I can go to Epocam like that, and then I can swap back. So I can do it that way. The other way is to log into Restream Studio in another browser and come in as a guest, and then you can swap between the two that way. Or you could use a third-party tool like OBS or Ecamm Live and use that as the switcher. So there are a few other ways, but there's no kind of like easy clickable way at the moment. But I would be very surprised if they don't bring that out. I mean, I don't know what they feed the developers at Restream, but they keep on coming up with new stuff. So so the answer is not yet, not like a quick and easy way, but I'm sure that's coming.
Yeah, and as a guest, you can also control your camera. So I have the same little controls as Ian does at the bottom. So I can mute myself, I can turn my camera off, I can share my screen, I can actually play a local video as well, like the video that Ian showed of me connecting my channels. I could actually have that here as well, and I can flick between my cameras in the settings. So you can control your audio and your video, and there is a shortcut. There are short key controls, aren't there? So there are. So I'd have to look at those properly to see which ones do what. So there may be a camera function in there where you. There
might be, yeah. So actually, let me just.
I haven't looked at that.
Let me just share my screen again. So again, we get excuse the infinite loop, but. Just at the bottom here, we've got the option to obviously mute my audio, disable my camera. So I don't know, maybe I'm picking my nose or something, so I don't want anyone to see that. There's share screens, invite guests, adding a source. If I click on that, I can play a local video. That's a video on my computer, not that I have to upload it. Rtmp Source is a bit more advanced, but this allows if there's somebody that's broadcasting from a third-party tool like OBS Studio, I can then bring that in to the broadcast. And that's useful if you've got like a team of different people at an event. And then there's background music. So we could actually, are you in a chill mood? Let's play some chill music.
Play chill.
There we go. Some chill music going on in the background. So that's what that is. But the cog is what I wanted to show. So the shortcuts are at the bottom here. So you've got a Command G or Control G would be to go live or end the stream. Microphone, camera. So if I click on
V.
Yeah, what happens if I do V? Oh, that's just toggling me off and on. There we go. So that's what that does. This is cool. And the cool thing is if you have a Stream Deck, you could assign these to your Stream Deck. So if you want to kind of do those. So add a local video. Show all sources at the layout. I'm going to have to play with this. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's a way to swap cameras yet, but that's cool. And then just a few other things here. So I'm currently streaming in high definition, full high definition. You've got more options here. So I could put participants' names there. I've also got advanced options here. So I'm actually streaming. My camera is actually in HD. Audio. We've got stereo audio and high resolution. So there's loads of really cool options there. So if you're a bit techie and you want to get a bit more geeky, you can play around with that stuff.
Very good.
So there we go.
Yeah, that's good because this echo's gone now.
Was there an echo?
Only when we were sharing, when I spoke, when we shared your screen, I think it was picking up me coming out of your screen.
That would be right.
Yeah.
Yes, because so that's on I think on a Mac. I'm not sure whether this is the case on a PC, but if you want to capture the audio, that will only work on if you share your Chrome tab. So you've got different options. So you've got entire screen, which won't capture the audio, window, and then Chrome tab. At the bottom, there's this option which says share tab audio. In fact, let me just, no, I can't actually. I was going to say, let me share my screen, but I can't share that because that's how I share my screen. Does that even make sense? Anyway, I can't share it.
Yeah, the only way you do that is if you share your whole screen rather than the tab. Try that.
I would no, I'd have to.
Oh yeah, you could swap your camera. Yeah, we could do that. But
I would have to do this. And I'd have to swap my camera. So let's just do this. This is very old school. So let's go to Epocam. So you can now see my screen. And then if I go to share screen, because obviously I wouldn't be able to share this because this is the bit before I actually share my screen.
That's it,
you've got entire screen. You've got window. So I can choose any of my windows on my computer or Chrome tab. And right at the bottom, you see there's this option. Is that even happening? Oh, it's just a bit of a delay. There's this option that says share tab audio, and that's what you would select. So there we go.
Super cool.
I'm going to change back to
the proper camera.
There we go. Cool. Any other final thoughts before we finish, Anita, on Restream Pairs, or what you're going to be working on next? What's your next thing?
My next thing is helping people reduce overwhelm. I'm working on scoping out a course for everybody on how to bring their business into a course. So actually creating an online course. So selling what you're offering as a course, whether it's a mentored course or as a passive. Well, I'd never say there's a passive income, so semi-passive income.
Yeah.
So you can have the course where people can work through it on their own, or you can have a course where you're mentored. But I'm teaching, that's planned for February 2022, where I'm actually going to show people how to create their own online course, whether that be a cooking course or a B2B course or any sort of course, just to really sort of like help people put everything they've got online, really, to make it easier for everyone to sell and have a bit more time to themselves, which is also quite awesome. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think what you said there is so important. There's maybe not so much of a thing as passive income, like lying on the beach and just waiting for the money to roll in. You'll have had to work to get to that point.
Yeah.
But there's a balance, and that's a big thing for me is going against the kind of the unintelligent hustle mentality. I think you need to be intelligent about your time and put your effort in where it makes sense. So I'm a massive believer in that. So is the best place to go to your website? Is that anitawong.co.uk?
Yeah, that's it. And I also have a membership it's called the Digital Lab and Tech School, but you can get to that from my main website. And that's that's the whole digital support. Just ditch the overwhelm and actually start growing your business. And that's, I had a call this morning with a client and she was just about to throw the towel in because she just didn't know where to start. And it's actually just sitting down and focusing and actually looking at what you've already got, because a lot of people forget. We work on doing stuff and you might have done something a month ago and you forget you've done it, but you can actually just repurpose that, and that's a good thing about Restream, actually, because if you've done a video before, you can actually repurpose that video through Restream as a live stream as well. So that's another feature that you can use as well, which is super awesome. So yeah, just helping people ditch that overwhelm and start growing their business confidently and as themselves, with a splash of pineapple, which you'll know about when you've got to have the pineapple in there.
Anything from Anita, go to your Instagram or whatever, pineapples. But
I got sent them in the post now. It's really cool. I got sent one the other day in the post. Someone saw a pineapple in the shop and so I thought about you because that's great. It's like, oh, okay.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, yeah. So,
I have to think about what should I have a fruit or vegetable, Jerusalem artichoke or something. I'm trying to think of something like really obscure. But there you go.
Yeah,
there.
I think it's to do with being individual, isn't it? You know, it's about being yourself and just, you know, just sharing you know, understanding your own qualities and actually being able to share that online is super important. And it can be any fruit. It doesn't have to be just a pineapple. It could be an apple, because we're all individual. Actually, I was thinking about that this morning, because I have twins, girls, who are identical. And most people think, oh, you know, when you've got identical twins, they're the same, but they are so different. And that's exactly what we're all like. You know, we're both, you know, whatever you do online, if even if you've got a competitor standing next to you, you're different to them because you bring your own unique pineapple essence to the world, which is why I got the pineapple.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's great. That's great.
Pineapple's on for the closing word.
There's a quotable. There's definitely quite a few quotables in that today.
Yeah, probably. I'll have to go through this now and take some little bits out.
Exactly. Well, that's one of the things, as Anita said, you can download the recordings from Restream. You could then bung it into a tool like Descript or your editor, and you can also do the opposite way around. You could create a pre-recorded video and then broadcast that live using Restream. So, loads of cool things you can do there. I think we're done. I think we've pretty much done everything. Talked about everything, and I think we've had all the questions. So thank you, Anita, for coming on the show. Do check out Anita's website, anitawong.co.uk.
Yay.
And we'll have to do this again sometime. It's been great fun.
Good fun, especially with everything else. It's really good fun. So thanks everyone for all your questions, and thank you, Ian, for having me on. And I will see you soon.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. And I just want to encourage you to level up your impact, authority, and profits through the power of confident live video. See you soon. Bye.